Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another new movie review. Today we're going to be talking about the Gracefield incident, which is directed by Matthew Rat. His name will be right here. I'm not really sure I say that last name. And it's about three couples that are spending the weekend in this isolated cabin, and they soon find themselves hunted by some sort of alien life force after a meteorite crashes nearby. So this is a found footage horror movie. Y'all know how I feel about found footage. Got a love-hate relationship with it. I think that's more accurate to say now than saying I don't like it. Right, so let's just quickly get into what I did like about the movie. The graphics were surprisingly good. Okay, so let's get into what I didn't like about it. This is gonna be one of those Vicky rips a movie a new asshole sort of thing. I couldn't help it. They're just really, like, when I sat down to write my thoughts on the movie, I really could not come up with anything I truly liked about the film. Right, so the real kind of like supposed to be unique selling point of this found footage horror movie is the fact that our main character, Matt, has a prosthetic eye that he installs a small camera in order to record the goings on of the weekend. Yeah, so that's kind of like the selling point. One of his friends that also goes to the cabin also brings just like a regular handheld camera, so the movie is split between the two cameras as far as footage goes. But you would think an eye, like a prosthetic eye camera, would sound cool, but I feel like there was just way too many variables to be able to suspend my disbelief. Like, I could not help thinking about like the logistics of this. So like at one point I paused the movie to see if people that have a prosthetic eye blink. And I watched a video of a girl like putting in and taking out her like prosthetic eye and everything. They do still blink. So I was thinking like, okay, so every time we cut to the eye camera footage, it goes on forever without this guy blinking, not even once. I feel like they could have utilized that, and that might have been utilized to good effect. The blinking, like kind of like how horror movies use sometimes like the camera flash, you know, like the flash of a visual and then darkness, you know, to kind of build up tension and create a jump scare. Could have used the blinking, but that didn't happen. Also, what I noticed in this video that I looked up is that the prosthetic eye does not move, which I didn't think about at the time, but it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, it's not connected to anything really. So the prosthetic eye doesn't move, and obviously the real actor does not have a prosthetic eye, so you see his eyes moving all over the place. So, I mean, obviously we know how he achieved the look of the prosthetic eye, like the camera eye was a contact lens, but shit. I just could not help thinking about it. I feel like there was just way too many variables for me to suspend my disbelief. The acting was just mostly really not good. One or two of the actors gave some good performances, but some of them were just, it was just bad. It just felt unnatural, and you know, it could have had a lot to do with the dialogue, which was, I find this in a lot of found footage horror movies. The dialogue is just super unnatural. I think found footage movies really benefit from, you know, improv lines, or kind of like how the Blair Witch Project did it. The majority of their scenes were, you know, they were just supposed to walk to a new location, and you know, they were given kind of like a general premise or like the general feelings they were supposed to be, like where they were at emotionally, and a lot of the lines were improv, and that's what gives like the realistic feeling. You don't feel like their lines are lines. And that's where this movie fails big time. It's just super unnatural dialogue. Really takes you out of it. And the ending, of course I'm not gonna spoil it because this is a new movie. It's available right now for you to go see, but I'm guessing most of you haven't seen it, so I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but it's very like Deus Ex Machina ending. Like, definitely not a scary ending, definitely not like a, how do I want to say it, like unsettling or sinister ending. It has quite a happy ending. That's all I'm gonna say about it. It's actually a pretty happy and like hopeful ending, but it didn't match the tone of the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie is supposed to be like scary and unknown and foreboding, and then you have this super happy ending, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and recommend that you shouldn't watch this. It's just a really poorly executed attempt at like an original idea for a found footage horror movie. Like, you can tell the director, you know, maybe had something going with the eye camera thing, but it was just really poorly executed, and it's really not worth it. I spent $6 on it at Amazon to watch it, and I want my money back. I also should point out, like, why you shouldn't watch this. I fell asleep watching it, and I had to, unfortunately, like, when I woke up, I realized the movie had ended and I didn't know how it ended. So I couldn't justify reviewing it without knowing the last 30 minutes of the movie. So I had to go back and rewatch the last bit, which again, I was not happy about. I didn't have to pay for it again, but yeah, I fell asleep watching the movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this 0.5 alien babies out of 5. That is my lowest rating. Actually upset that I spent money on this. Yeah, on IMDb, surprisingly, it has a 4.5 out of 10. I don't know. Maybe people really like aliens. Rotten Tomatoes, it says 0% for a critic score, but I don't know if that was because I don't think any critics reviewed it. I think that's why it's a 0%. So don't think that that's the rating. I think it's just because nobody reviewed it, I think. But audience score has a 30, did I write 31 or 37? I think I wrote 37%. I don't know, I really want to go back and look and see what people were saying about it in terms of liking it. Because I was surprised at IMDb, because I went in to look at all the comments and they were all horrible. So I don't really know how it got a 4.5 out of 10, but yeah, anyways, if you've seen the Gracefield incident, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. It is available on, I think, YouTube and Amazon and Vudu and maybe iTunes to watch if you really want to. Just my personal recommendation is to either not or wait until it's much cheaper or free for you to watch. Yeah, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe and become a creepy peep today. And until next time, stay strange. Bye.